When my teeth were really bad, fear kept me stuck there for a very long time. But fear is also the thing that got me out of that situation. Fear got me unstuck. So that's what I want to talk about today, is how fear can be a motivator to completely change your circumstances. Today's video is sponsored by Ivoclar Vivadent. For those of you that don't know who Ivoclar is, they are a dental manufacturing company that produces products that dental professionals use to treat patients like us, such as my teeth. They're Ivoclar teeth. I've got a ton of videos sponsored by them on my channel. If you want to learn more about their company, visit the link in the description box below. It's www.morethanAdenture.com. All I can share is my experience, and so this information might not apply to everybody. So I went through having bad teeth for about 10 years. They'd always been really bad, but I think it was when I was 15 is when I got my molars pulled. And then when I was 16 is when I started getting cavities on the bottom of my teeth. And then that just like escalated. So going back to at least 16, I would, hide my smile, wouldn't really smile with my mouth open in pictures. That's like the beginning of all of the insecurities and the downward spiral that I found myself in, until eventually I had them pulled at age 26. So I dealt with that for a long time, way longer than I should have. And I did have a few stints where I went to the dentist. Aside from those 2 stints, I just kind of accepted things the way that they were. Maybe acceptance isn't the right word. Maybe I felt despaired. I felt hopeless because I didn't know what I was supposed to do. I couldn't afford to keep up with the dental work, and I was terrified of dentures. And so because I couldn't see a reasonable way out of the situation, I kind of just stayed in it and made do with what I had, made the best of it to the best of my ability. And I did that by covering my mouth, making sure not to laugh out loud. The way that I laughed, I'd look down and laugh so that nobody could see my teeth. I avoided doing a lot of things in the daytime, which required me to be close to people and socially, interacting and engaging with them. So I could go to the grocery store and stuff because I could still hide my teeth in those situations. But if somebody wanted to go out on a lunch date, that was not going to happen. I did things to try to hide my teeth and make the best of the situation. I spent a lot of time doing my makeup, trying to perfect that, doing different things to my hair, buying all kinds of clothes so that I could present well, in spite of the fact that, I was very ashamed of my teeth. But aside from the mental anguish and how much I hated being in that situation and how much pain, physical pain I was in, I wasn't really doing much to get out of it. I was just kind of stuck. I would dream of having really nice teeth one day. I would dream of something like this, being able to sit here and talk to a camera, knowing that there's an audience of people watching and not judging me for my teeth. I always imagined that. I got really into things like law of attraction. I prayed all the time, constantly about my situation. I'd look for inspiration online. I'd find people that had smiles that I wanted. And I thought, if I just think about it hard enough, affirm it to myself, tell myself that this is going to happen one day, that somehow the stars were going to align and a way was just going to be made for me. That's not what happened. It's through self-reflection over the years that I can really look back and unpack what was going on. This is something that I might not have even seen back then, but right now I'm in a period of life where I'm doing a lot of digging, a lot of internal work, trying to determine what my beliefs are about myself, trying to figure out, what things are keeping me stuck in my current situation. And so I was looking at some older videos. Time goes on, you forget just how bad it was for you. It was never getting into a positive mind frame or visualizing a beautiful smile that got me out of that situation. It was the fear of what would happen if I didn't. That was what motivated me. So while, I always wanted to have a nice smile, I feared what that looked like because I didn't have all the answers. Again, I was afraid of dentures, so that didn't even seem like a reasonable option for me at the time. That was something that I actively wanted to avoid. I was terrified. I couldn't afford to get my teeth fixed, so fear kind of kept me from even taking the steps to get the situation addressed because I didn't know what was on the other side of my healing. I didn't know what that was going to look like. And as much as we hate being in those uncomfortable situations, they're comfortable enough because you're used to it. You get used to navigating life that way. As unfortunate as that is, we are creatures of comfort. And so we'll stay in a bad situation way longer than we have to just because it's familiar to us. But the moment that I really started looking at things with very clear thinking and became fearful of what would happen if I didn't do anything, that is when everything changed for me. I started Googling things like, the impact of having, poor oral hygiene and its effects on the body, like what kind of illnesses it could cause, like what were the risk factors there. I started thinking and imagining the social consequences of, slowly but surely my teeth falling out one by one. What kind of person am I going to become? Can I do the things that I want to do like this? Can I confidently take my kids to the playground and meet up with other moms and have play dates and things like that? Am I going to embarrass my kids? Are their friends going to pick on their mom because their mom has really bad teeth? Is anybody ever going to want me to work for their company and present myself in front of clients or customers if my teeth were in that condition? Is my husband going to want to stay with me forever if my teeth are just crumbling and I'm really doing nothing about it? Not even taking the most basic steps to try to fix the situation. So I started really spiraling and getting scared of what life would look like if I didn't act, if I didn't do something. And I did not have the answers. The only answer that I had was that I'm probably going to need dentures. And that's as far as I got with that. Fear will make you do things that you never thought you were capable of doing. And that goes both ways. Like fear can make you stay in an abusive relationship because you're afraid of the consequences of leaving. Fear can keep you stuck at a job that you despise because you're afraid of losing income, because that means losing your house, losing your car, all these other things. So fear could keep you stuck, but when you reach the point where that is no longer sustainable for you and the fear of not acting becomes greater than the fear of taking action, that's when you move. That's when you take action. Think about it like this. We could all say all day that none of us are runners, but if we're running for our life, we're probably going to run, that's why they have things like gimmicky things like the zombie run, where, you're running because you're being chased by people that look like zombies. I mean, fear is a good motivator. And when you start to reframe your fears and stop fearing the unknown and start fearing the consequences of inaction, that's when you start to feel a little more motivated to move in the right direction. And you do not have to have all of the answers at once. You just don't. I was a stay-at-home mom for 10 years. I never worked in an office setting. Every job that I had previously involved call centers. I didn't have to use office equipment, or it was very scripted and stuff like that. I was a bartender. So I'd never been in an office setting, but I got an opportunity about 10 years deep into the stay-at-home mom thing where I was able to go and work in an office for a residential lending company. So this is finance, it's math. I am of all the things I'm not good at, math is what I'm the worst at. I'd never been in a setting like that. I didn't have the clothes for it. I didn't have the professional skills. I didn't understand office culture. The first time that I went there, I couldn't even tell the difference between the copy machine and the printer. I'm trying to get the copy machine to print my stuff. It was really crazy. And so oftentimes we'll look at situations like that and think I have to know all this stuff. I have to know it all at once. And because I don't, and I don't see myself in that situation, I'm not even going to do it. But they trained me and I learned as I went along and I got really good at it. I got really good at what I did. And it was something that I could not see from where I was as a stay-at-home mom, scrubbing toilets and cleaning puke off the floor. It was a different reality for me. I'm not saying it's impossible, but rarely are people plucked out of their current situation and dropped right into the best possible scenario that's totally different from the reality that they came from. It gradually happens. I believe that it starts with this paradigm shift where you think, and you're honest with yourself. You're not lying to yourself. You're not reciting these affirmations that like literally have no basis in reality. You're being very, very real and factual, and you're honest. Like, no, this isn't something that I'm good at, but can I get good at it? Most likely, yes, I can. You might not have all of the answers right now that you feel like you need to have in order to take action. And I'm telling you, you do not need to have all of those answers. And that's something that I really wish that I knew earlier, but I just couldn't see it. I never thought when things were at their worst for me that I would, at 26, get all of my teeth pulled, get dentures, start a YouTube channel, get a following, win a contest for implants, fly out to Vegas and get that work done, be sponsored by dental companies, and actually go lecture and talk to dental professionals. Like, that all sounds crazy to me. I never thought that anybody would say, like, your story was an inspiration for me. Like, those are things in the reality that I was in, I could have never envisioned for myself. And because I couldn't envision those things, I let it keep me trapped in that situation, not even taking the most basic steps towards healing and a better life. So I want you to really think about that. Think about a few things. Think about, number one, what are your current fears? What are you scared of that's keeping you stuck? Because a lot of times when there's something that we want, there's something that we feel like we need, we feel like it's a necessity in our life, but we're not going after it. We don't have it. There's usually some kind of belief that you have that's keeping you from that end goal. It all starts with what you accept as reality. I'm gonna give another example because I'm the queen of like examples. You'll hear a lot of stories about millionaires, like really wealthy people that through some unfortunate chain of events lose their wealth, but then they build it back just like that, like it's nothing. And we're looking at them like, what? And it's because they had the mindset of a millionaire. So they are already moving to maintain their current reality. Where on the flip side, you've got people that win the lottery, right? They think that, if I just get all this money, it's gonna change my reality, and they win the lottery, and like, good for them, like, get it, But then they have all this wealth, and because they didn't have a paradigm shift about what they believed about themselves, what they're capable, how the world works, they thought that it was just about the money when it was never really about the money. And then they squander it away and they're back to being broke, living paycheck to paycheck. And it's because they didn't address their core beliefs about what they thought about themselves, what fears kept them in the situation they were in for so long. And I'm telling you, it's not money, it's not the job, it's not other people, it's not anything outside of you that keeps you in those situations. It's you. It really is. And that can be scary. That can maybe be offensive to some people, but I think that's empowering, because if I'm the one that's keeping me stuck, then I'm the one that can get me out of this situation. So number one, do some self-work and figure out, what are your fears? What is it that's holding you back? What do you believe about yourself that's keeping you there? And number two, stop fearing what could happen if you act and start fearing what could happen if you don't act. Like, literally frame it like there's a zombie chasing you and now you're running when you never thought that you could run. That's what I did, and that's literally what got me out of my situation. And it wasn't just with my teeth. Any big steps that I've taken, like leaps and bounds, I can trace it back when I'm reflecting and think it wasn't that I just believed in myself and saw myself in a better reality. It was like, if I don't do this, I'm really afraid of what's gonna happen. Like, how my life is gonna pan out if I don't do this. Like with a car, like I want a new car, I want one, but this one works just fine. It was when that one was like spitting tires out on the interstate and like I'm fearing for my life, fearing for my kid's life, I got a car real fast where I didn't even think that there was a way to get a car. So start shifting how you're seeing this situation and look at it from a broader perspective. And then lastly, stop thinking that you have to know everything, because you don't. Because believe it or not, it literally is as simple as taking those first baby steps of calling a dentist, setting up a consultation, getting some kind of plan together. They could maybe connect you to resources for financing, or maybe somebody else steps in and helps you, or maybe you figure out a way to restructure your budget to accommodate for this treatment that you're about to get. Like, you never really know what the path is going to be until you take those first steps. I hope that all made sense, and I know that my energy is super high, but like, I'm really feeling this topic because it's something that I wish that I had known sooner, but you learn things in your own time, and I know it now, and now I can apply it to different areas of my life. Drop a comment in the comment section below. Have you like discovered what your major fear is that's holding you back? Have you overcome that fear? What was it? What kind of mind shift did you have that allowed you to embrace this big change? Because it's terrifying for some people. If you're not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. It really helps get these videos out to more people that need to see them. I just hit 75,000. That is crazy. I don't know what happened recently, but stuff is going like really super fast for me. So that's really nice. I really appreciate everybody that takes the time to click the subscribe button. You can follow me on Instagram. It's kalinjax on Instagram. It's Christy Kalinjax Lind on Facebook for my personal, and then I Wear Dentures on Facebook for my page. And I will see you guys again next time. Y'all take care.